anyway, we're sitting in a late 2005 Aston Martin V8 Vantage. I have the owner, Jamie, with me.
Hello.
And I'm going to find out the realities of owning an old V8 Vantage.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jamie, how long have you owned this car?
I've owned this car, I was looking last night because I just put it up for sale.
Yep.
I bought it in September 2017.
2017, okay.
Yeah.
So about 18 months.
Yeah,
really.
about that, yeah.
Lovely, lovely. And what's it been like to live with? I mean, how many things have gone wrong and how expensive has it been?
Well, obviously when you buy a car, and then naturally people think, oh, an old Aston Martin Vantage is going to cost you an arm and a leg, you know, it was that Ford area. But the reality is, it hasn't actually, mechanically the car's been sound. I've done more miles in this car than any other, because the nature of my work, I get to travel around a lot around England, and I'll take this with me, and it's never gone wrong once. In the first week I bought it though, the start button here, you can't see it here, I actually pushed that button into the dashboard. And I was like, that's typical Aston Martin, like.
Yeah, push something through the dashboard in these things.
Yeah, so we ended up taking the dashboard out, and then I had to get a new button, which was only £100 from Aston. I had to get a new light because the bulb had gone, and obviously they don't have bulbs in here, they're LED strips.
LEDs, yes.
So it was the whole unit. I got that second hand off eBay, but apart from that, mechanically the car's been sound.
Because being one of the early versions of the V8 Vantage, this has got the 4.3 quad cam in it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did this have the power added? Has this ever been upgraded, or is this still stock?
No, this is still stock. The only thing I've done is took the fuse out of the exhaust valves
To make it
louder. Yeah.
louder, yeah. That's fuse 20 as far as I'm
Yes, and the fuse is actually here.
in there. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll dig it out. There we go. Fuse 20.
And that is a common thing that every Aston Martin owner will do.
Yeah, just to open up the baffles in the exhaust and give you that guttural roar.
Yeah, mechanically the car is absolute standard.
Fair enough. So that's a 380 horsepower, 409 newton meters of torque, and supposedly a 0 to 60 of 4.8 seconds.
Yeah.
But then again, that's in the book. Could be quicker, could be slower. You don't have the flappy paddle on this. You've got the actual stick shift.
No, so the sport shift, I don't think they did, because this is the 05 model, which was like the first year it came out. A lot of people reviewed the car and said it was underpowered. Like, to me, I don't think it's underpowered.
Yeah.
So they brought out a 4.7 with a bigger engine, more power, and it had a sport shift with the flappy paddles.
I see.
But most Aston Martin owners will say that they stay away from the automatic gearboxes because they're prone for problems.
Oh, they are, fair enough.
That's why I have that car port reader in the back, because mechanically the car is sound, but a common problem with Aston Martin ownership is electrical problems and dashboard warning lights. Constantly turning them off.
It's that bleeding fuel is low light that's the worst one, isn't it? It constantly keeps coming on.
Yeah, the biggest problem, yeah. Common problem is the oxygen sensor, you know, the O2 catalytic converter sensor.
I see, yeah.
If you don't drive the car for a while and then you drive it, that sensor light comes on.
I see.
So you've just got to turn it off again.
So it's not actually a fault with the sensor itself,
No.
It's been sitting and there's gunk that's built
And
up
I
around
got told that by Aston Martin, because I had the car a few weeks and that light came on, rang up Aston Martin, and they said, it's because of you've not driven it in a while.
Yeah.
The sensors come on, so just like turn it off and everything's all good.
Do you know, out of curiosity, when this car was new, how much it actually cost in total?
So I've got the receipt in my house. I don't know why I've got the receipt, but it was for 92,000. So somebody bought this car for 92,000.
That would have had some optional extras.
Yeah, I believe it's got the optional extras. It's got a tyre monitoring system, so if there's a flat tyre, it tells me what tyre, which isn't under there.
Yeah.
Cruise control, which I don't think was an optional extra. Heated seats and lumbar support seats, buttons in here.
Yeah.
And I think that was it really. And obviously this Pioneer dashboard blue thing here.
Oh,
because when I took it to a lot of Aston Martin like places, everyone always admired the colour. They said the colour was to get a blue interior and blue outside, like most Aston Martin Vantages are either silver or black.
Yes.
So to have like an all blue,
Yeah.
they
Blue on blue,
I think that was an optional extra.
How much much is it worth these days? I mean, what have you put it up for sale for?
I actually put it up for 28,000.
28,000.
Yeah.
And it was 92,000 new.
Yes. I know.
Damn, over 60 grand in depreciation.
Oh yeah. But it feels like it's worth every penny.
Yeah.
Because I always say, if you're going to spend that sort of money on a car, it's got to make you feel special. You're going to get into it and think, you know what, this car is different. You know, it's unique. It's not necessarily the car itself; it's the brand Aston Martin. You know, all you're going to say is, "What do you drive an Aston?" You know, people think, "Oh, do you know?" You know, they naturally just have that.
Yeah, they'd actually. You drive an Aston Martin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that kind of like thing that comes with.
Yeah, it's the Bond-esque kind of. It's that really exclusive name, the hand built.
And it's this name, this shape, the DB9 with the Vantage that was that Bond era. Unfortunately, I'm not a spy.
No. I have to admit, you don't dress like an Aston Martin owner.
No, but I have found, okay, because I listen to a lot of modern music, I found with this car, I listen to a lot of classical. And I thought if I listened to anything more like some dance music, I thought I would feel out of place.
So if somebody was going to buy this car, or a version of this car, what are the common problems? Because obviously you haven't had any significant issues. What are the common problems with these?
Mechanically, the car is sound, engine-wise. It seems to be a common problem is a clutch and electrical. What you'll find is most cars, like most Aston Martins, are stored away.
Yes.
You know, when I bought this, it had done 100 miles in 3 years.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah, you know, everyone knows you don't drive these as an everyday car. They're stored away. So common problems are flat batteries, and when the battery goes flat, it can chuck all sorts of warning lights on the dashboard. In fact, my battery went dead. You know, everything was flashing lights.
Limp mode, basically. And it just wouldn't power. It wouldn't do anything.
This is why I say have that car thing and just that little.
Then you can reset it.
Reset it.
I've got you.
So it is very prone for chucking on warning lights, but they're not actual warning lights. It's just that sort of, if you don't drive the car for so long, it will throw up a fault code, which you just reset it and everything's okay.
Fair play.
And obviously mechanically the other one is a clutch. This has done 63,000 miles and the clutch is fine on it, but it seems to be around 50, 60. You'll find a lot of cars that are for sale have said they've had the clutch done. It seems to be a thing. If you're looking for an Aston, check if the clutch is done.
They do have a smaller, lighter clutch to save weight, though, don't they?
Yes,
There's
they do.
Very specific clutch in these.
Yeah, because I as well when I was looking at one, I wanted the clutch done because it is a £5,000 or £6,000. Yeah. So if you are looking at one, maybe spend a bit more that's had the clutch done. The good thing about Aston Martins is there's a lot of aftermarket parts. They say that this model, the Vantage, shares the same parts as the DB9 and the Rapide. So everything is the same. So interchangeable, like the light, I had to replace the light which came off a DB9. Yes. And you can get them relatively cheap. Yes. But clutches, no. A clutch that wasn't from Aston, and it was still 1,500 quid. Plus you're looking at labour to fit it.
Yeah, obviously you're going to be over $2,000 even than the cheapest.
Yeah.
If you can call that cheap.
So it's very.
This isn't really a car for somebody on a tight budget.
No. But saying that though, it's not. I would say out of like people naturally think, oh, Aston Martin's expensive, and if you are going to take it to Aston Martin, expect to pay the premium.
Yes.
You know, they charge £900 for an oil service.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, I get local Aston Martin specialist down the road for me, £500, and that includes spark plugs, oil change, a full service.
So obviously you're going to get looks when you own one of these cars. You're going to get noticed. What's that actually like? Because obviously most people will be driving a Focus and nobody gives a crap. Yeah. What's it actually like when people stop you, when people look at you, when you get in that view?
I get a lot of attention in it. I always thought, oh, it's an old Aston. No one's care about it. Yeah. But it does get a lot of attention, especially from the kind of older generation. I kind of get a nod of appreciation, kind of like, fair play.
Taste.
everywhere I seem to take it, everyone will notice it. You know, if I only went to fill it up the other day at the petrol garage, and the security bloke came up to me and shook me hand and was like, "That's a nice car, mate." You know, and I've had, you know, I've parked it up somewhere, and some guy's come up with his son, and he's like, "Look, can my son sit in your car?" But yeah, it does get a lot of attention. But at the same time, the other thing is obviously you've got to be wary where you park it.
Yes.
You know, I don't want to just leave it there on the street.
No, because I'm sure it can be prone to people scratching it or getting it out of envy and things like that. Because that's got to be the other downside of owning a car like this.
Yes. What I have noticed though is a lot of people seem to let me out on junctions.
Yes.
I don't know, right? Yeah. I don't think that would happen if I was in an Audi or BMW.
No, maybe people actually think you've got a license to kill.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Hi everyone, so as you can see, this is my Aston Martin Vantage. Now what I'm going to show you now are the annoying things on this car. Now everyone from a distance looks at the car and thinks, yeah, you know what, that's British engineering right there. But what I'm going to show you are the little things that drive me up the wall. The first one are these doors, because these doors open up like this. And the whole point of it is so you don't, when you open the door, hit the underneath on the curb. But what you don't realise is when you get it in and out of the car, okay, you open the door, and because it's opening up, what happens is the car just does that and takes your shin out. It's worse in this one over here. What happens is, I'll demonstrate. Right, you're in the car, okay, you open the door like that, and then what happens? Bang, just takes your shin out, and it's so annoying. Another thing that's annoying about this car is this bump in the bonnet. Now the car was designed for small people, and he mentioned it when he got in the car was too small for him. Okay, so it's perfect for me. But what's annoying is this bump in here. When I'm sitting down in the car, generally I cannot see where the front of the bonnet is. All I see is the dashboard and this bump here. And the amount of times, because I have to park this in a garage, I've had to put like a rubber bit on the front, because the amount of times I've hit this front bumper because I can't see the front of the car.
Because it disappears away too violently.
All I see is the front of this.
Yeah. And
it's so annoying. Next one I bring you to is this handle here. Now, why would Aston Martin, why would they just put a normal door handle on? Now, what I find is when I take people out in the car, for me, I'm just used to it. You push the handle in like that, you pull the car and it's up. But the amount of times I've pulled up somewhere to pick someone up on a hot day or my friend, and they're sitting there like this. How do I get in the car? How do I get in? And then I have to go, you got to push it in and pull the handle. And they're like, I can't do it. Can't do it. Then I have to get out of the car and show them. Now for me, it's easy, but for everyone else, did you have the same problem as well?
No, I didn't.
No. Push where? Push what? Here? And then they can't do it.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm used to it. And that is, I think, an annoying feature. They should have just put a handle on it. The spring in there is like a good £500 to replace.
Ooh, just
because you see how it goes back in?
Yeah.
Some of them don't.
Bloody hell.
I know. So the last and final feature that I find annoying on this car is this boot button here. Now, again, nobody knows that this button's here. Everyone's faffing around, trying to pull the badge, trying to figure out where the button is. But what makes it worse is it just how you press the button, right, and you've got to push it up like this. Now, when you're holding something, especially your shopping or boxes like the idiot over here, which will now demonstrate, it's near impossible to hold your bag and open up and push, as he will now demonstrate.
Go on, you bastard. Go on. Open. Bloody bollocks.
I told you it's hard, isn't it?
Yep. Go on. There we go. Done it. And I'm in.
Another thing, if you don't have the boot all the way up, this happens. Right on your head. The amount of times I've gone like this and the boot has just gone straight on my head like that.
Yeah.
So we're sitting inside this Aston Martin Vantage, and as you can see, it's got a blue leather interior. Blue dashboard, blue seats, blue door cards. Everything on this car is blue leather. Now that's great, it looks gorgeous and beautiful. But what you don't realise in the summer, just how hot it gets. We were stuck in the we were stuck on a motorway once, and it got that bad I actually had to take my trousers off because I was wearing jeans, and yeah, I was getting quite sweaty, and I had to sit there with the door open on the motorway like, oh my god, just get me out of this thing. It was bad.
Oh, doesn't the air conditioning work too well?
Yes, the air conditioning does work, but it doesn't pump out cold enough.
Okay.
Do you
Oh, so
know what I mean?
it's not a fridge kind of air conditioning.
No, it's
then.
not a fridge.
It's just
It's
okay.
a mellow kind of cold breeze. Another thing as well, these sun visors. I mean, what is that gonna block? Really? And what's worse is the mirror. What's the mirror? The mirror's not even looking at me. It's looking at the seat next to me. Right? This does absolutely nothing. Okay, it looks good because it's made from aluminium and again leather. Is it leather or suede?
That's suede, I think.
Suede. But again, it doesn't do anything. So what's the point? It's just a novelty thing.
Yeah, it's there because you need a visor.
But apart from the annoying little bits on this car, the interior is gorgeous. If it's not made of leather, it's made of aluminium, and everything is literally hand built and bespoke. Even the leather, they've even put leather inside of the cigarette lighter bit here.
That's fantastic.
I know it is, isn't it?
That's brilliant.
I know, and you would, it's little things like that, attention to detail. Another really annoying thing, and this is probably the most annoyingest thing ever, and I don't know who came up with this idea, okay, but the battery went dead in the Aston, okay. Where's the Aston? Where do you think the battery's kept?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah, behind here.
Oh,
So behind here is the battery.
Okay.
Okay, but here's this. The seats are electric, so if the battery's dead, you have to pull the seats forward to get to the battery. So how do you do that if the battery's dead?
Yeah, if the battery's dead, that's
how do you do that?
that's very intelligent.
You don't. I spent ages trying to figure out how to do it. Eventually, I had to actually pull this out like this.
Yeah.
And navigate behind here to get to the battery, and I had to put 2 jump leads to a battery outside of the car just so I could move the seat forward to climb into the back here to put that on. And I thought, who came up with that idea? Just who came up with it?
Well, it's slightly easier than the whole BMW electric locking, where the battery's in the boot and you can't get into the boot without the battery to unlock the car.
Yeah. But I find it such an annoying feature on why they
why they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing that I will say about the layout of this car is obviously, let's say you're in 3rd gear, so the gear stick is forward. The hazards are directly in front of the gear stick, so you can catch yourself if you need to hit your hazards. For example, let's say something goes wrong and you're stopping quickly because you're stuck in gear or something, or you've seen something round the bend that the person behind might not have seen. You can hit the gear stick. That could flick you into turning the traction control off, or recirculating the air.
You mentioned that, alright, but stop. Just go back to that point there. Okay. No, your hand's on the gear stick. Okay. Right. Another thing that annoys me is, where's the cup holder for this car? It's here. It's here. So you're forever like this, knocking your drinks back. It's like, oh, 2nd gear, go on, drop it down, bang. The amount of times I've spilled coffee down here because of the cup holder there, and I'm thinking, who come up with this idea? And if it's even worse, luckily for me, obviously my seat's all the way forward, but if you had a seat that's all the way back, you're definitely hitting the cup holder.
Yeah. Well, I look, that's where my elbow is at the moment.
So you have to find out what's more important, your coffee or
your gear stick.
Yeah, your gear stick.
The other thing is, this is a silver facade on the radio and everything like that, and it's got white lettering, which I suppose when it's brand new is perfectly fine. But as it gets older and it fades, it's harder to see. Now, if you've owned the car for a while, you know where everything is. But if you've just bought the car, you're not going to see certain things, especially if the sun's playing on it. One other thing, the passenger airbag off button is here.
Yeah.
So if you have a passenger who leans to talk to you, they've just turned their airbag off.
Yeah.
Or if you have a child in a child seat and they're playing about with things, they turned it back on.
Yeah.
So that's quite odd. That's a really weird place to have it. I mean, in my i30, for example, to turn the passenger airbag off anywhere on either side, or the passenger bag or the driver's bag, whatever, you have to open the door and put the key into the dash and turn it. And that's the only way to turn it off.
I would rather. I think ideally the traction control button should be here.
Yes.
And the airbag should be over there.
Yeah. Well, you got a parking sensor there that you can turn off.
Randomly just there
in the middle.
Well, is that such an important thing for the car?
What is the symbol for a park brake?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's P, isn't it? Okay, it's got the circle in it.
Yeah.
But that's P with obviously sensor.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if you've never owned one of these, you don't realise that the handbrake is down on the door side of the car. So you will see that and maybe think that's your park brake.
Yeah, that's another weird feature that everyone, when I let to drive, you had the same problem when you drove it, is that they can't understand the handbrake. Because obviously you pull it up and then you drop it and people naturally think it's off, but it's not, it's actually on, and you've got to pull it up and drop it again to turn it off.
And that I noticed there is no park brake light on the dash.
No.
That really is mind-bendingly
I think
odd.
that's why I have that tiny little squeak on when I pull off, is because the amount of times I've actually driven
with the handbrake on.
on.
Yeah,
I've done it quite a few times.
Yeah.